So you've just bought yourself an airbrush, you're trying to get the feel for it so that you can create some amazing artwork, but you're struggling with your paint. Well, in this video, I'm going to share with you a very basic mixing ratio, which is perfect for beginners, and it'll make airbrushing so much easier. So when your paint is too thick, you'll notice because it'll have some spattering, it might not perform as well. Getting fine detail might be more difficult. And you can see some of that graininess that I was just talking about. And even though it was managing to do some fine lines, you can see in here I'm starting to get a bit of intermittent spray, probably a bit of tip drying happening. But all in all, this is Trident Violet straight out of the bottle, and it works really well. But I know that with this paint, I can still get even better performance using the ratio that I'm about to share with you. If you run your paint too thin, then there's more chance that you're going to spider it out. It's going to be harder to control, and you can see how much wetter it is, which will make it a lot more difficult to use. So the paint ratio that I recommend for anyone that's starting out, and this works with most of the paint brands, is a 1:1 ratio, which means equal parts paint and reducer, or thinner depending on what your paint manufacturer recommends. So for this video, I've just been demonstrating with the Trident Violet, so I'm using their reducer to thin that down. Okay, so you can obviously use a bottle that has measurements on it, but in this case, I'm just going to mark it with a Sharpie. And now by eye, I'm going to add that reducer. So equal parts of that now. Obviously, if you use a measuring cup, it's going to be a lot more accurate, but it doesn't have to be spot on. Close enough is good enough. I'm pretty happy with that. Maybe just a little bit more. And then these Trident bottle sets, they come with a marble. So I'm just going to drop that back in, seal it up, give it a really good shake. And it's ready to go. So as you can see, the PSI is set to around 25 PSI. So using now that 1:1 ratio, and see how nice and smooth that is. Perfect lines, not getting any spattering. I'm able to do fine detail. No issue at all. So to fast track your learning, you can definitely check out our online airbrushing course at airbrushaasylum.thinkific.com. And if you find it's still not performing to your liking, then just turn the PSI up a bit. I've now got it at about just under 40 PSI. You can hear the difference, but this sometimes will help to propel that thicker paint out. Generally, a 1:1 ratio is perfect for all-round airbrushing. Whether you're doing t-shirts, fine detail work, murals, if you use this paint ratio, it'll allow your paint to cover nice and quickly, plus you'll be able to get nice fine detail. You can obviously go finer again if you use other ratios, like I like using a 30% paint, 70% reducer ratio at about 18 to 20 PSI. But that is a lot harder to get used to. The paint has more chance of spidering out on you. Whereas this one is just a good starting point for all beginners, and it'll still allow you to get all your airbrushing done with minimal tip drying.